You know, the cross changed everything, including you and me. It was the death of our old man, the sin nature, the end of the old life in Adam. The cross is the most important and eternally significant event that's ever taken place on this planet, and it has the greatest consequences and most incredible implications even for us today. And when I talk about the cross, I'm referring to the sufferings of our Lord Jesus Christ, his crucifixion, his death, his burial. And the sufferings of Jesus weren't just the physical sufferings that he experienced in his body, but also the emotional suffering that he experienced in his soul and everything that was going on in the spiritual realm at that time. And these emotional sufferings began and started in a place called the Garden of Gethsemane. And so, after Jesus had observed the Passover and instituted the Lord's Supper and ministered to his disciples, he went with them over the brook Kidron to the Mount of Olives, and they came to a place called Gethsemane. There was a garden there, and they entered into it. Now, Gethsemane literally means oil press. And so, in the garden, there was probably an olive grove, and there was probably also an oil press nearby, and that's why it was called Gethsemane oil press. And just this tree or this grove of trees behind me kind of makes me think it might have looked something like this. But with Gethsemane being called oil press, there's some amazing parallels between what Jesus went through in the Garden of Gethsemane and the process of making oil out of olives, the process of pressing the oils in an oil press to make olive oil. And I want to share some of those amazing parallels with you. And so, an oil press, olives were pressed 3 times in the oil press. And if you read the account of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, you'll see that Jesus withdrew to pray to the Father 3 times. And so Jesus was undergoing a pressing, Jesus was undergoing a crushing. In Isaiah chapter 53, it says that Jesus was a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. But then it says why? It's because he carried our sorrows and bore our griefs. And then it goes on to say he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised and crushed for our iniquities. He was chastised and punished so that we can have peace, and by his stripes we are healed. And so Jesus began to be crushed for our iniquities. He had the weight of the sins and sorrows of the world press on him like an olive being pressed to extract its precious oil.